fuck is you telling me?
Yes, sir. Tuned in to Throw the Hook Podcast, episode 6. It's your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. And I got my dog with me here, the General, Boxing First Vlog. What's going on, bro?
What's happening with you, big homie? How you feeling today?
Everything cool. Everything is cool. Coming off of a great weekend of fights. But today, the press conference for one of the bigger fights to be scheduled in a little while. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, that press conference went down in New York, I want to say. I think it went down in New York City. But before we get started, if you in here, say what's up and put a 1 in the chat. Let us know if we sounding crispy out there in the airwaves. Once we confirm that, then we go ahead and get started. I'll give a couple of shout outs. Big shout out to Shane. I don't know if Shane's still on vacation or whatever, but big shout out to Shane. If you're listening, you need a link, bro, just shoot it. I didn't know if you're still on vacation or not. Big shout out to Coach Ali. Spoke to him a little earlier today, man. Hopefully he'll be able to slide through. And big shout out to Tree James. Just got off the phone with Tree James a couple minutes ago. Big shout out to Teak. Teak came through on the last show. Definitely did his thing. So big shout out to Teak. And, everybody that just supports Boxing First Vlog and myself. We try to do the best we can. We don't try to do too much, but, we try to do enough to keep y'all entertained, at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So, a vlog, we haven't talked about Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Just initial thoughts on that matchup, just from a technical standpoint.
See, it's hard to speak on that unless other things is spoke on first. Okay. So let's just say, let's keep the promotions clean, respectful. Let's leave the monkey talk, for your bathroom mirror, and for you and your dad sitting on the porch. Y'all can talk goofy like that amongst yourselves, but you out here in these streets. Let's keep everything respectful. Let's keep the promotion, about the ring and everything like that. You know what I mean? So that being said, now we can slide into technicalities, because if OGs like myself don't speak on it, don't have the testosterone and the testicles to speak on it, maybe, what I mean, the younger cast is going to shy away from speaking on it too. So I'm going to speak on it, and hopefully, it gets to the ears it needs to get to. And a lot of this stuff ceases because it's not tolerated. And that's real spit. You feel me? So that being said, though, I do respect him inside that ring. And technically, I think he could be as strong, or if not stronger than Shakur. He is a little bit older, so, he's the kind of grown man in this fight, so to speak. So, that he's bringing that into the ring. So technically, strength should be on his side. Obviously, speed probably down a notch from what we know that he's had in his past. Obviously, he's getting older. A little bit of ring rust, so to speak, because, again, these big names, they ain't active enough to stay sharp. You know what I mean? But again, when you're naturally blessed, it's kind of not hard to really get back on the bicycle, so to speak. So, I think he'll be all right as far as being clean and things like that. Not clean as far as drug tests or anything, but just being clean as far as being his boxing outcome. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be too far behind the punch or just like timing too far off or anything like that. So again, technically, I think he should be sharp coming into this fight. It should be a motivating fight for him. So again, that's part of technicals too. You know what I mean? If your mind ain't right and your mind not in the fight, things can go wrong for you in that ring. So I think he should be motivated just based on his personal feelings. So, you know what I mean? That being said, though, that's Teofimo side. I'm going to let you jump in this Shakur side.
Well, just to speak on what you said prior to that, the press conference went pretty well. Nothing really disrespectful in terms of what you were speaking on in terms of past comments and things like that. Now, I do think the promotion is going to be pretty clean in terms of that type of talk because we know who Shakur got behind him. So I don't think he's going to play too many games when it comes down to getting out of line in terms of promotion. I think it's going to be some good talk, but I don't think it's going to be anything out of line. I think, he knows the crowd that's behind Shakur. So hopefully it'll stay that way. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Say your boy 2038 said, "Yo, what's up? Big shout out to you. Put a 1 in the chat if we sounding crispy on the airways, man. Put a 1 in the chat. Let us know we sounding crispy." As far as Shakur, I mean, Shakur's technically coming up from 35 to 40, I guess we can say. And, them jumps from 35 to 40, I don't be as concerned about them more so than ones like the 40 to 47. That's a major. 47 to 54. That's a major. 35 to 40 really doesn't bother me too much in terms of like getting into the 140 weight class and taking a fight just to get acclimated to the weight, all of that. I'm not really, really concerned about that. The thing with Shakur, technically, I think with Shakur is he can't just be shoulder rolling through this fight. He's not going to win this fight just shoulder rolling. So I'm kind of curious to see what else he's going to do to really open his offense up. I think his last few fights, he's been comfortable in that shoulder roll stance. And Teofimo, even though sometimes you don't get consistency with him inside the ring, Teofimo is one of the more athletic guys that Shakur has been in the ring with, which athleticism is something that you need to get to a person like Shakur. So it's a very interesting fight. Technically, I mean, we definitely gonna get more into it, but Bism, big shout out, said 1. All right, we got 1s across the board, so we good. Let me see. Carla said my B-day today. Happy birthday to you. Do a favor on your birthday and subscribe to your boy and subscribe to Box First Vlog as well. Big shout out to you. But as far as Shakur and Teofimo, I know you were speaking more on Teofimo's side of things. Like, just off the top of your head, we kind of spitballing here. What are the keys for Teofimo to get to be successful offensively against Shakur?
Try to be first. Force Shakur to counterpunch, which he's good at. But if you can put volume on those counter punches and kind of just do numbers against the counter puncher, you know what I mean? You can kind of run away with some rounds. Like, you might get caught here or there within a round. That doesn't mean you lose that round. So I think volume definitely it plays big when it comes to being trying to outdo a counter puncher. You got to flood them. Make them not want to punch. You know what I mean? You too busy hitting them. They kind of shorten up on their punches. They don't know what punch to throw or how to react or what you're doing to them. So that can happen to a counter puncher. And just like if you want to flip it and say what Teofimo, I mean what Shakur can do, I think Shakur has to force the fight. You know what I mean? So it's like who's going to start first is a big thing to me. You know what I mean? Because we've seen Teofimo even be a counterpuncher. He did it against the African Bull where he got the knockout. You know what I mean? He's done it in a few other fights, but at this point, I don't think he can really hope for the fight to come to him like that because he could be outboxed. if it turns into the counterpuncher in this fight. So I think it's a who's going to be first and who's going to be more accurate, because accuracy is going to play a big part in this fight. Because Teofimo, not super slick, but he can avoid a punch or two here and there. And definitely, we know Shakur. Obviously, you brought it up, shoulder roll. So, but I don't think that defense will win your offensive fight. So, you know what I mean? I think both of these guys got to put the foot on the gas and at least try to be first, not out volume each other, but just be first in the action.
No, that's a good perspective. And the thing with Shakur, I think with him, it's really how much does he open up offensively? I think the two main things that get him through fights, I don't think he can rely on them two things. And number one is the shoulder roll, and number two is just pot shots. You're not going to win this fight just off of shoulder rolls and pot shots. He's going to have to be more aggressive, because I think Teofimo is going to be more aggressive. Actually, I think Teofimo is going to be very aggressive in this fight, because I think that's the difference between him getting frustrated or not, with the defense of Shakur. And we've seen Teofimo in fights against technical boxers, and he has a tendency to get frustrated when things is not going his way or he's not landing the big shot. We've seen him get frustrated. I would say probably Jermaine Ortiz is a name that definitely comes up for me, where it wasn't the fact that I thought he lost a fight. It was the fact that he was frustrated in a lot of different areas in that fight. And Teofimo's the better fighter,
Can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
I think you're totally correct when that assessment of saying frustration. But in this scenario, I think that plays in his favor. You know what I mean? If you seeing that boxer kind of, make it not as clean, not as confrontational of a fight like we've seen Shakur do sometimes, I think that actually helps Teofimo when it comes to the cards.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's like we know enough about both fighters, right? But there's enough mystery with both of them to make this interesting. When they first announced the fight, my initial thought was like, okay, Shakur should win this fight. It's gonna take Teofimo to kind of change my mind a little bit. But as I sat down and really thought about it, there's a lot of different layers and elements to this fight, and whoever's the winner, they're gonna have to come out of their comfort zone in terms of what they like to do, offensively. So Teofimo, I know he's not a big jabber. He's gonna have to jab in this fight. And I'm not talking it got to be this crazy volume. He has to show it. He's so athletic. A lot of times he starts off his combinations with hooks and he kind of forgets the jab. He's going to have to at least flash it in this fight against Shakur, because his defense is so good that if you don't flash the jab, if Shakur know all he looking for is hooks, you're not going to be able to touch him the entire night. You're not going to be able to touch him. You might have to throw the first 3 shots to land the 4th one. That's how good his defense is. And I think another thing, Vlog, is the feet. The feet. I think the feet going to be really, that dance off is going to be really important. And Teofimo is going to have to win that battle in terms of the feet. And what I mean by that is when Teofimo gets in range to throw, he needs to change angles. He cannot just stand there in front of Shakur. You can't pot shot a moving target. If he stays a moving target, there's less of a chance he's going to get hit with pot shots all night. So I'm going to be looking to see what Teofimo does with his feet. If he's changing the angles, changing the levels, that's going to help him out in this fight for sure.
One thing I could say, I would definitely say Shakur has an advantage of. It's his athleticism versus the styles that Teofimo has been fighting lately. He hasn't had to tune up fighting athletic guys, let's say in the past 3 fights, let alone go back 5 fights. You know what I mean? A lot of flat-footed guys, a lot of guys kind of, that should be there for the knockout. He just wasn't doing his part to get rid of these guys. So, you know what I mean? He had trouble with the southpaw over there on the other side of the pond. So it's you know what I mean? It can be tricky for him if the athleticism, if that shoulder roll comes with offense, comes with, you know what I mean? Just the sassiness that can happen in the ring. You know what I mean? You can get real freaky with it in there. So that could be very frustrating for a guy like Teofimo because he hasn't seen it often enough, per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And had to defeat it. You know what I mean? Not to say the guys has beaten and aren't athletic in their own right, but you know what I mean. You know what we bring to the table. So
right.
that in itself could be an obstacle if he's not patient, if he's not, you know what I mean, paying attention to where the timing lines itself up to counter that athleticism or like I say, force that athleticism to where you want it to be. That way you can get busy yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a perfect segue, man. We got Coach Ali in the building, man. Coach, what's going on?
Yes, sir.
What's going on with you?
What's going on?
Hey, Coach, real, everything good. Coach, real quick, we didn't get a chance to talk to you during the last show. Did you watch the Lamont Roach versus Pitbull fight? If so, who did you have winning the fight?
I had Lamont winning the fight, but however, some of the judges probably gave more credit to Cruz for landing the heavy punches, but I had Lamont winning though.
Okay. And another question for you before we get into the Shakur and Teofimo fight. Cool boy Steph coming in at 132 pounds, 2 pounds overweight. With him being in the camp that he's in, Bozy Ennis in that camp, like they run a pretty tight ship. I know you've worked with plenty of fighters. Like when a fighter miss weight, and as a coach, you know you ran the camp pretty well. Like what kind of goes through your mind as a coach when you see a fighter just miss weight and you felt like deep down in your heart you did everything you could during camp?
I look at it like this. Bozy is a very busy fighter. Coach in terms of going in and out of camps. So he doesn't have time to babysit the fighters. I hear a lot of people try to put blame on the coach, but he has fighters, Jack Catterall, what's his name, Andy Cruz. He's in and out of camp. So that one was on Cool Boy Steph, and he has to eat that because he came up from 126, and
Right.
why did he have trouble making 130? So it's kind of like why,
Yeah, that was like a heavy topic for us on the last show, and obviously he was having trouble making 126. That's why he went up to 130, and just to see that for us, and vlog from Philly too, like it was just we're not used to seeing that from Cool Boy Steph.
It's unprofessional. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing that, and we don't. The city don't usually represents like that, in terms of missing weight. Like we're not known for that in terms of fighters in the city. So it was shocking, but it showed in the performance. I mean, he lost. I mean, Vlog, did you give him a round?
No,
I didn't see a round for Cool Boy. I mean,
but I told you that weight cut probably affected him mentally because he looked like he was not even in the fight, bro.
I agree with that too.
And if you look at his record, it's the third time he's had issues as a professional with this weight cut. Couple of them, I think, was a championship fights. Obviously, this one was a championship fight, so maybe one time before was a championship fight at 126, or it could have just been like just a regular fight. But it's still an issue, championship fight or not. And he's had this issue. Now you're talking about this man probably having to go up to 135 with no punching power, struggling with weight as it is. I mean, with no momentum. So I don't know where Cool Boy is at right now, and I don't know what suggestion to make for him as a fan, as a pundit, as just as a brother. I wouldn't know what to tell the man to do.
That's a great point, bro. Because when Cool Boy has established this reputation as a fighter, like not only as a good fighter inside the ring, but he does what he's supposed to do outside the ring. No PED stuff. He comes in, he fights. He don't shortchange you inside the ring. He's one of the better 122, 126 guys we've seen in a while. The Inouye fight, that was just a tough mission for Cool Boy, but Cool Boy he's definitely an overachiever. Because if you look at him physically, he doesn't have like the natural physical talents where it's like physically you like, yo, his hand speed is crazy or his power is crazy. Like he just takes what he has and it works. So you have to do the small things. Like you got to make sure camp is going smooth. You got to make sure you on weight. Got to make sure you on point. And these are things that I'm talking about for future Cool Boy stuff. I'm not talking about what just happened. He has to make some decisions in terms of being a fighter going forward because he didn't look good at whatever weight he was on Saturday. I don't know what weight he ended up at on Saturday. They moved it from a 30 to a 35 fight, but he did not look good. He didn't look good physically.
He looked out of place.
That's a great point, Coach. Like he definitely looked out of place. And I remember I was texting Vlog, and I'm like, yo, Cool Boy looking bad out here in these streets. And it's just, I don't know what he does going forward because he still has a belt at 26.
I know Bozy pretty well over 20 years, but I know he's had several conversations with him about weight because there's no way that he should have moved to 26. I mean, from 26.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. With Cool Boy stuff, right? Like, if you're, kind of like advising him, what would you advise him to do, like coming off of this fight?
Well, you have to get with his management and get him on some other show with a decent opponent, but an opponent that he can build some confidence with.
Okay.
And and just move on. Don't try to flirt with 30 even. I would just go back down to 26 and just apply discipline. That's the word that he needs to be familiar with.
But Coach, he was at 26, and that's where struggle came in twice. So that being said, I that's why I said I as a pundit and a fan, I wouldn't know what to tell him because I know 135 is not like super full of monsters, but it's dudes that can bang up there. And if you kind of can't stand your ground at 135, you kind of got mauled at 130. But give or take whatever y'all want to say it was. So you know what I mean? That's why I'm saying I wouldn't know what to tell him. Maybe some time off, you know what I mean? Maybe just I wouldn't say a whole new team, but maybe just catch another ear, you know what I mean? Go visit a couple different camps and Something like that. Just take a little bit of time off, definitely. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of get the mind right, because it starts up here first and then translates there on out. So just take some time down, though, because he's been pretty active these last few years. That I gotta give him. He's been pretty active, more active than some of these big name fighters.
But with the, I don't think a change of pace would do him any good. He's in a great place. He's just lacking dietitian food. He needs to address that.
You gotta lay off the cheesesteaks, coach.
Yeah. Get off the cheesesteaks and apply more what you call it, vegan dietary needs.
Coach, you out here trying to get this man the runs. If you don't stop with that vegan talk, man.
No. Listen. A lot of guys, listen. Shoo Carrington is a vegan. You can and coincidentally, I think he's at 126. I think he's at 126.
Shoo was at 22.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
That's going to catch up with him, because Shoo, he been taking some shots lately, and I think these beef eaters gonna catch up with this boy, and it might not be good for him down the line. I'm just saying, as a boxing fan, I'm not trying to be, like come down hard on the bruh, but I'm a meat eater, so I'm speaking for all the meat eaters.
Me too. But when you have weight issues, you have different needs, and it's nothing wrong with getting some fish, some salmon in your diet, but right now he really needs to take some drastic measures to get his weight under control, because he doesn't belong at 30, and I
agree.
It's just and he's too good a fighter to just give up.
Coach, I was so pissed off, man, because I was really pissed off, because I'm like, he's so much of a better fighter than what he showed. And listen, all credit to Shakur Foster. Like, I mean, he fought a tremendous fight. And he has a lot of reach for 130.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lot of reach for 130. He has the reach of like a 47.
Right.
Like his reach is like in the mid 70s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he
130.
He
uses it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Cool Boy couldn't get on the inside. That's why he couldn't get on the inside.
He kept him right on the end of that thing.
Hold on, Coach. Let me get the comments real quick. Curry, the 3-point guy, said hola, hello to you. Zachary Biggerstaff said, please shout out. I never had a shout out. Big shout out to you, Zachary. Said I like and sub. Appreciate that. Said my 790 laughing. What's going on with you, player? Yeah, Cool Boy got some decisions to make. If he wasn't a belt holder, I think it'd be a little bit easier. But
hey, that belt ain't no WBC. I just got a feeling it's not a WBC belt. Am I correct? Is that IBF?
No, I don't think it's a WBC. No, I don't think it's a WBC.
He got stripped.
Yeah, I think with actually, you know what? I think it is a WBC. It is a WBC.
I'm about to AI Google this real
quick. Yeah, go
Google
that real quick. You know what? Shakur Foster belt is a WBC. That's why they changed it to a 35.
Oh, okay.
Shakur's belt is a WBC. The thing with Cool Boy is, because he has a belt at 26, it's not as simple as just, it's not as simple as just, hey, he's got
to
make
30. He's got to make a defense at 26.
Yeah, or they're gonna strip him. And the reason I say the belt is because that's leverage at the negotiating table. You don't just throw away leverage at the negotiating table. So Cool Boy gonna have to make some decisions. And them guys at 126, they lining up. They lining up. They seeing how he look.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this could work for him or against him.
Yeah. Definitely. Because whoever he steps in the ring with next, they're definitely gonna be sleeping on him. They gonna be sleeping on him for sure.
It's saying he the former featherweight champ.
He has
And he had 3 of them too. He had he had 2 of them. He had WBC and the WBO.
Okay. Yeah, well, regardless, he's gonna have to make some decisions, and it's gonna be interesting to see what he decides to do. But and then what is he, what, 30? I think he's 31.
Yeah,
See? That's what I was talking about, bro. Maybe I get it with the homer and all of that, but just it ain't nothing wrong with going down south. You know what I mean? Texas, Atlanta, some good boxing venues around that you could just kind of get re-inspired from. Not to say that you switching camp or you turning your back on your team, but just to go be around other competition a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to get the juices going. When you're around the same gyms and it could get a bit stagnant, could be an issue. You know what I mean? Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
but
go ahead, coach. Go ahead, coach.
I don't I just don't see a better place for Steph to continue to develop.
No, coach. Don't
Getting,
get me twisted. That's why I said it's not. I'm not getting them to change loyalties. I mean, just kind of be re-inspired. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I was stating. Like if you're around the same cat and doing the same thing, you kind of like treading water sometimes. So
You think you need to get away from home? You think you gotta get out the city?
just take it on the road for a few months. You know what I mean? Go hit a few gyms. Get the juices going again. You understand what I'm talking about? Just a little bit. Come back home, feeling different, feeling fresh, feeling new, and ready to get back to it. That's all I'm saying. But if you're going to do it, pick up something. Pick up a little bit. Like, okay, I see how they doing it over there. And maybe try to add it to the repertoire with your coaches. I'm just saying. Even down to eating, coach. Even down to eating.
If he makes a move like that, I would say, maybe he's just too comfortable being home. But as far as the environment, like, of course we all know the environment that Bozy Ennis and that camp brings. Now it's really just a matter of like, are you just too comfortable at home and you just not as locked in and disciplined as you should be because you're at home?
Hey, listen, that's exactly what I think happened. Like I said, you around the best in the world. That gym, I can't say enough about it. My goodness, I mean, he just well, mentally, he's probably, I don't know, but I do know he's a damn good fighter.
Yes.
He's just in a peculiar spot right now, and maybe some time off, maybe some, but I can't see. I know it's a lot of good coaches around, but I just can't see them making the adjustment.
Am I correct in this assumption that this could be the hardest fall from a former pound for pound guy? I mean, without like getting banged out of the ring, like, what I mean, just getting your bell rung and consistent KO stoppages, but just the way he's fought, the weight issues, you know what I mean? Because we was talking about, just a few years back, we was talking about Fulton pound for pound, baby.
Yeah.
I know for a fact we had him on pound for pound list. So, you know what I mean? It seems like a, Canelo-esque fall. You know what I mean? Even though they still dragging him around on some of these raggedy ass pound for pound lists. And
But
that's something I wanted to talk about too.
But you guys both know that his dad did an excellent job with him, and
Yeah.
then allowed Bozy to help out. That was even better. But what happened was, I think what happened was the success, that immediate success that he was having, it had an effect on his mental,
Mm,
and that's a huge part of boxing. You know,
for sure.
it's uh, it's just different. You know, I
Yeah.
seeing what I saw Saturday. Um, I wasn't comfortable with it, um,
Nah.
but uh, but I know because I know that he's so much more than what you saw, and
Yeah.
and uh, and he's a good dude too. You know, he's
Yeah. Yeah. He's a real good dude. I remember the first time I went to Bozy in his gym, it was years ago. I was actually I was with YSM Sports Media. Big shout out to YSM. And Cool Boy was on he was on a heavy bag,
mm-hmm.
and he had his back towards me, so I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, who was that on the bag? And they was like, it was Cool Boy stuff. I said, there's no way that's Cool Boy stuff. Like, he didn't have a fight lined up, but he, had the shirt off. He's working out on the heavy bag. And I'm like, I said, there's no way. He was at 122 at the time. And I was like,
Was that the old gym?
Hmm?
The dungeon?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, I said, there's no way. I said, he's making 122. I said, there's no way he's making 122. So I seen that with my own two eyes, which goes to your point in terms of kind of outgrowing things. I seen him years ago, and I'm like, you could tell a lot of times with a fighter, especially the smaller fighters, you could tell their strength in their legs, their calves,
mm-hmm.
and their back. You know what I'm saying? Like you could see it. And I'm like, yo, I was like, I don't know how he making 22. He looked like he was probably about one at that day, 150, 155, just eyeball. Like, I mean, I was like, I looked at him, I was like, there's no way he fights at 22. That's how like wide he was in terms of his physique. So I think Vlog, a lot of what you said is relevant. But he needs to find some type of balance in terms of where he's going to fight at. And then it's kind of like you either need to kind of reevaluate things and mentally get yourself right. I don't know if it's a lack of hunger. I don't know what it is. No pun intended. No pun intended. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he going to figure some things out. He owes one. He owes one for sure. And you can tell Bozy Vlog. I don't know if you noticed this, but even in the corner, I think Bozy, I've never seen him at a loss for advice. Like midway through the fight, you can kind of tell Bozy was like, this ain't it.
Knowing Bozy, and I didn't speak with him leading up to the fight or nothing, but I know that he had a certain type of feeling in his gut about this here fight, because the weight issue and this and that and jumping up to 35, and we all know the reality of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I'm lost, but I do know that 126 is his ceiling. That's just
Yeah.
it's there's no if, ands, or buts about it. That's his ceiling.
Yeah. Anything above 26, I think he's like middle of the road at best. But but
he's going to be pedestrian from moving forward. if he doesn't continue at 26. And now at 26, he's a problem.
Yes, yes.
You know, but I would say that his ceiling is 26.
Yeah.
And there's a big time fight waiting for him at 26 with Shushu Carrington. That's a good money fight for Cool Boy.
That's definitely a good fight. And the way he looked in this fight Saturday, he's going to have to, he's going to look at the shoes of the world. It's a lot of young talent, at 26, and they licking their chops. They licking their chops.
Yep. Now, probably in in January, you doing some light stuff, and then actually take a fight in like April.
Yeah, he definitely needs to take a little break. I wouldn't mind seeing Cool Boy, April, May, summertime.
Yeah.
Actually he'll have a better time actually cutting weight too, warmer weather and stuff like that. But hey coach, we was talking about Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. They had the press conference today. That fight's going down January 31st. Just initial thoughts on that fight, and who do you like in that fight?
That's a great fight, and I would be leaning more 60-40 for Shakur. His ring IQ is the big difference. Judging by the way Jermaine Ortiz fought Teofimo, and I had J.O. winning the fight. And he has similar movements, and that's going to be a really really good fight. Of course, Shakur is not going to move as much as J.O. did, but he's definitely going to put on a clinic and really box his head off.
A vlog, do you look at it 60-40 Shakur? You think a little wider than that?
Yeah, I'm close. I'm close ballpark. 55-45.
55,
Give or
45.
take. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because this is my thing. Because he doesn't box per se feet wise as much, but he is a angle guy. In them angles, he can take the wrong one or misjudge the punch coming. And in a rough fight, which I anticipate Teofimo trying to make it, if he not incorporating movement in this fight, he might find himself in a ugly match. Kind of not per se Pitbull Cruz dirty, but you know what I mean? Could get some crazy tie-ups. He trying to take the foot here, he trying to take the foot there, they tripping over each other. It could get a little tricky like that, where it could get a little ugly if he's not properly judging distance and actually using his feet instead of just trying to, shoulder roll, get off the angle, slip, that sort of thing. He's gonna have to use his legs in this fight.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the Jermaine Ortiz fight, that's that fight in a microcosm. Shakur is gonna use the angles and cut angles and doubles and triples on his lead hand. It's going to be a really good fight. The first 3 rounds is the most dangerous rounds for Shakur, because he won't be as heated up and warmed up. But I think going down the stretch, it'll get wide. I mean, the scores will get wider for Shakur.
Hey, coach, if you're Teofimo, if you're coaching Teofimo in this fight, like what's a few things you would tell him he has to do to try to be successful in this fight?
First of all, he's got to try to find a way to control Shakur with his left hand, with his lead hand, and I don't know of anybody that could do that. It's going to be a uphill battle. Of course, I like Teofimo's footwork and all of that, but I don't know how that looks with Shakur, because I know how it looked with Jermaine Ortiz, and that was just a year ago.
One thing I could say that he could do to try to trick and make Shakur a little bit more aggressive is probably side jab. The way he likes to lean and kind of throw a little jab, force somebody to punch. That way he can turn into the counter puncher. He could try to do little things like that just to try to still be offensive while trying to set traps. You know what I mean? And those side jabs to the body downstairs, probably poke something upstairs on a double shot, throw it downstairs, bring it back up from the side. That's forcing Shakur to throw long, to reach for that punch. You know what I mean? Because you got to come over top of the arm and possibly the shoulder.
Right.
So that could get you in a little bit of trouble if you're, punching over yourself trying to get to him. Oh, he laying down in front of me. Let me go reach for that. Teofimo reach back, throw a little check hook. You know what I mean? Even line you up for a straight shot on the counter. So it could be, little things like that Teofimo could do to try to force the issue.
Yeah, I hear that, but you in with a generational talent, and I don't think at least he hasn't shown it. The Teofimo has been in with a guy that's sharp as Shakur. Shakur is a problem for anybody.
I spoke on that, and I said that earlier in the live, coach. But at the same time, we know for a fact, and we've seen Shakur sleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
Car still driving.
Sometimes
So just let's we got to be honest about the product that this young man has shown us. As great as he is, he's also shown us the ability to get a fight to his opponent if his opponent will go take it. And this is one of them fights where his opponent might come and get the fight. Just saying, coach, I get it.
Yeah,
we homers and whoop-de-whoop, but at the same time, we got to be honest about what we're seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think that in this fight, it has so much implications that Shakur is going to be extra defensive. And with that being said, the footwork, the head movement, and the hand placement, all of the components that go along with defense is going to be employed that night. He's not going to go to sleep in front of Teo, because Teo can change the fight with one shot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everybody knows
definitely.
that.
And
with him working with Terrence, it's going to be. I mean, his defensive prowess is going to be heightened. I mean, whoo, my goodness.
But that's my point, though, coach. This is one of them fights, like I told Jeff, that defense can actually lose you around. It looks good to us because we're boxing heads. We hardcores. We get it. But at the same time, we not these judges that come out and tend to already be leaning one way from the gate. So you got to try to bring them your way and make sure they stay on your side of the fence based on your performance. So I get the defense, but you got to be offense at the same time, bro. So because we've seen him win fights defensively because he's the main card. He's the guy. We get that. So they're going to give you these Saw the same thing with Teofimo in the Ortiz situation. He didn't think it was going to be that hard, but at the same time, he didn't really go out there and take the fight from Ortiz. They just happened to give it to him. We can't expect that for Shakur in this situation. We don't know who the house guy is.
Now William Cepeda was the pretty much favorite in that fight, I guess. Shakur put on a masterful defensive performance, and he was given that fight. I mean, not given the fight, but he actually won the fight. Do you think Teofimo is a bigger star than Cepeda?
Yeah, that's an easy question. Yes, no doubt about it.
Okay, so if that's true, we have room to be concerned. But I just don't think he could land enough significant blows to swing the judges. I know. Is he still with Bob Arum?
Who, T.O.?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still with Arum, right? Yeah, he's still with Arum.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Just to kind of meet both of y'all in the middle, I think the key for Shakur is defensively. Like we know what we're gonna get from Shakur. Like Shakur don't ever leave us hanging in terms of defensively. It's really how offensive he's gonna be within that defensive prowess. Because we've seen some fights with Shakur where he can do defense and pot shots and kind of cruise the victory. Shakur is going to need a little more than that offensively. He's going to need more than that offensively against a guy like Tio. Because
do you see a toe-to-toe moment in this fight?
There's going to be plenty of them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no, I'm talking about Crawford style. He run with Crawford. We know what kind of moxie Crawford got. Are we going to see that out of Shakur in this fight?
Plenty of them.
Okay, that's all. Then obviously we gotta. If we're going to see that out of Shakur, then it's got to be 80-20 Shakur.
Plenty of them.
At some point, a fight is going to break out in a boxing match.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I need to hear. Because I believe in him.
Vlog.
I believe in him.
Here's the thing, Vlog. I believe T.O. is a showman, and I believe Shakur is as well. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna come to a point where you can scrap everything else, and they just gonna lace them up, and it's gonna be some moments like that. Now, are we talking Roach Pitbull moments? Probably not. But it's gonna be pockets where they're going to be going at it for a good 15, 20 seconds, and they really going to be going at it. I think the key for Teofimo is here.
Yes.
We've seen him get frustrated in fights when he don't get the shots that he wants. We've seen that against a couple of guys. We've seen that against a couple of guys.
Bro, that's what I told you. Listen to me, man. You know I know what I'm talking about. That can save him in this fight.
What can save him?
A guy that won't fight him is in this situation can make him look like the guy, the fighter, the guy that's coming looking to win. I'm just saying, I'm trying to tell you, we've seen it before against guys he should have beat. Oh man, this guy's frustrating me, and I'm not figuring out how to beat him because I didn't do my homework because I walked in here and I should just beat him, like Ortiz. That being said, situation, he's going to do his homework, and if it's still a puzzle to figure out, then he's going to be like, yo, this guy ain't fighting, whoop-de-whoop. Just trying to tell you, it can be a little bit of reverse activity with that situation.
Yeah, that was the night he asked that question. I don't know who he asked. Was it his dad or something?
He said, "Did I win the fight?"
No, do I still have it?
Oh yeah. That was the Jermaine Ortiz fight. Yeah. That was the Jermaine Ortiz fight.
those are the questions that he's going to answer that night he fights Shakur.
He can't vlog. Teofimo cannot have an ounce of mental lapse.
No,
He
sir.
cannot have an ounce of mental lapse. Like, I mean, not even a quarter of an ounce.
Just like Shakur cannot have a ounce of defensive lapse.
No, he can't. He can't. Teofimo is very talented offensively when he puts it together. And the thing that makes this fight so fascinating, Coach, yeah, and he got smoke in them hands. He got smoke in them hands. And the thing that's going to make this fight so interesting is the reason why Shakur is so successful out of that southpaw stance. I would say probably about 90% of the time he makes sure his feet is in the right spot before he throwing shots.
Absolutely.
When you're dealing with a guy like Shakur in that tight of a defense, it takes somebody athletic like Teofimo to actually put his feet in the right position. Now, if he's going to use his athleticism to get his feet in the right position before he start throwing shots, Teofimo got a shot. But I haven't seen Teofimo disciplined for all 12 in a while. I haven't seen him disciplined for all 12 in a while.
Let me bring this up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you're Shakur, you're up early. Do you pull a Haney and try to, trust the card?
He can't.
Or do you stay foot on the gas, kept doing what you're doing to build that lead?
I think
doing, but within the framework of the game plan.
Coach, I also think that I like the Vlog. You know what? Before I even say that, Vlog, did you like Shakur's offensive output against Zepeda?
I thought he could have went for the exclamation point, so to speak. Even if he didn't put the dot on it, he should have tried to draw the line. I don't think he did. I think he kind of just coasted to the victory.
But overall, did you feel like he did enough offensively to win the fight, though?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, because the defense, again, that's a fight where the defense carried the way because we know Zepeda's the offensive fighter. It's styles make fights. I get it. But in this situation, just based on circumstances, I think that could hurt him if he's not, like I said, at putting the exclamation point on a round. Okay, I'm defensive for the first 2 minutes. Let me put the foot on the gas this last minute and get busy. That's how it's going to have to play out. Or I'm trying to tell you could lose a couple rounds by a guy that's just trying to a guy that's trying.
No, I get where you're coming from in that. I get where you're coming from in that because with a lot of times with these judges, they'll reward activity that's not working. If he's busy, as long as it's busy, they'll give a busy guy a round and he could land absolutely nothing.
But this is a busy guy that quote unquote has a name too. So we can't just act like that's not part of it.
No, I agree with that as well. So let me ask both of y'all this. Coach, I want you to answer this first. Can Shakur win the fight giving out the same offense he did against Zepeda? Or do you feel like he needs to have more offense than he did against Zepeda?
No, yes, he could win it the exact same way, but my question would be to Shakur, why do that? Make a statement with T.O. that you didn't make with Zepeda. Make your performance a lot better than the last performance.
Don't leave no doubt.
Right.
Hey, Vlog, what you think about that? You can Shakur win a fight with the same offense against Zepeda, or do you think he had to crank out more offense against T.O.?
I think he has to crank out more because it's an elevated name. You're going to have to do more against an elevated name. So you're fighting a name and a guy that's, known that to have a little crack. You know what I mean? He ain't really rocked nobody in a minute like that. But again, we don't know that Shakur hasn't been rocked like that either. But again, it's the first time for everything. You can ask Haney because he was high stepping to that corner versus what's the boy name? You know what I mean? So it can happen. This is boxing. So that being said, it's just he got to be more offensive. But like coach been saying the whole show, stay sharp, stay sharp, stay sharp. Get your shots off. Again, see, remember we was talking about legs. Get your shots off. Get out the way. Get your shots off. Use your angle. Don't like stay with that same. Okay, I'm inside. I'm getting busy. I got a little uppercut off right here. I made him miss over there. Kind of get back, reset, back to the 1-2. Keep switching it up. You want to frustrate a dude that we've seen frustrated before.
Yeah,
but you want to do it. You want to do it both offensively and defensively.
And another thing, those are both of y'all made some great points. Another thing I would like to see out of Shakur is a little more bounce in his movement, not be as kind of heavy footed. I know when you in the shoulder roll, you're kind of just in place, and Shakur has some of the best movement up top. That shoulder movement, he has some of the best movement out there. I would like to see Shakur move a little bit more in this fight because I think Teo's going to be trying to work angles if he's trying to play it smart. But that's the fascinating thing about this fight. You can really analyze it in so many different ways, and it's really I believe we know what Shakur.
So Jeff, so you saying basically bounce mean don't slide out the way. Kind of, use the tippy toes and really, skip back, use some speed. Like that's what I'm talking about. Using them legs in different ways.
I would like to see Shakur. I don't want to see Shakur in a shoulder roll stance the entire fight, just standing still.
He won't because Jeff, you got to remember Teo. T.O. can crack. So he's going to be leery of both hands, and when he slides out, he's going to slide out. He's not going to do much bouncing up and down.
Yeah,
like a dart. Like when you start, in. But he's definitely gonna be very, very, very defensive minded. And
I got a crucial question. I know I don't want to take over from my host and my little big bro. Will it be punch accuracy that wins, or will it be punch output that wins this fight?
For who?
Accuracy.
For either guy. No, I'm being honest. Like, because we know volume. Because out of volume, something's going to land. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, meaning accuracy, the more flossy shots.
Yeah. The more flashier shots is going to be landed by Shakur, and I believe he throws his punches with more technique than T.O. And that's going to translate into landing more flashier punches.
I think Vlog, to answer your question, bro, I think accuracy is really gonna be it. I think volume for T.O. is going to be important, but the more volume that if he's giving out volume and no angles, it's gonna be an ugly night. For T.O. Sure. It's gonna be an ugly night for T.O. If he's throwing a lot of shots and he's giving a lot of angles, it's going to be a great fight.
But remember, okay, now this is what we're talking about. We talking about the whole aspect of this fight. You talking about putting volume on a guy that's flat-footed at times. Remember you said up top, he nasty. So you can just get him off balance and make a lot of that nice little herky-jerky up top, natural athleticism look a little bit wayward at times. So again, that volume can kind of steal you rounds. I'm trying to get you guys
the upper body.
The thing about that, bro, the thing about that, bro, that's why I said it gotta be volume with angles. It has to be volume with angles. He can't just stand in front of Shakur and just dish out volume. He's gonna get picked apart. He's gonna get picked apart. It gotta be volume with angles. that it
But
gotta be both.
we know T.O. fights from Southpaw a lot of the times in the first place. So them being on like vice versa to each other naturally, he's already on a kind of an angle fighting Shakur from that Southpaw position.
You think he's fighting Southpaw in this fight?
He had, and that would be the smart thing to do.
Worst mistake he made.
I wouldn't a vlog. I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't fight a stance that's not your natural stance against a guy like that.
Not in the biggest fight of your life.
Not in the biggest fight of your career, bro. Not for no long periods.
Okay, I that's what I'm just saying. I'm looking at his offensive opportunities switching Southpaw against Southpaw. At times, you're on an angle where you could rip off a nice little combo to a guy that's kind of up top, being a little bit defensive, and make those combinations look decent. Get back to your defensive position.
I agree with that, but the thing is, when you switch to Southpaw, do you know where your defensive holes are? And that's going to be the biggest. That's going to be the biggest difference. That's why I don't think he should do it for long periods. If he does it for 15, 20 seconds, okay, cool. Just to change the rhythm up, that's fine. But to stay in Southpaw stance for like 4 rounds, he's going to get picked apart.
And let Shakur download all of that information. Oh my goodness, it's ugly.
A vlog. It sound like it. Like I know you said. Well, you said 55-45, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I'm trying to think where I'm at. I think I'm 65-35 Shakur. I just don't think Teofimo mentally is going to be locked in for the entire fight. And I think he's going to get frustrated at some point. And it's going to cost him. That's pretty much where I'm at with it.
And also too, Jeff and Vlog, what I don't know if any of you guys know who is helping Teofimo get ready, because it's very difficult for him to get ready for this type of fight with this type of southpaw. You know, even if he was lucky enough to try to get Abdullah in camp, I don't know if that would be enough to help him get ready for his reflexes.
I don't even know who you could bring in to really simulate Shakur from out of that southpaw stance. Abdul is a completely different fighter than Shakur. You would really only be bringing him in really just for the southpaw look.
Yeah, for the look.
Yeah. Let me get in the comments real quick. Real Josh said Cool Boy just couldn't beat Foster at all levels. 100% right about that. Real Josh, T.O. was going to make Shakur make adjustments, but Core should pull it off. I can see that happening too. In this corner boxing, my guy, Legend, what's going on? Says salute, brothers. Did you see Keyshawn and Richardson Hitchens going back and forth? I did see that. To be honest with you, I think that's a really good fight. But I think Keyshawn needs a fight or two, just off of what happened the last time. I think he needs to make weight. He needs to make weight, and he needs a fight or two before he takes on Hitchens. Hitchens got a nasty jab, and that'll be a good fight if Keyshawn can get right. Legend said Core surprised me at how well he did against Zepeda with that power, but we seen Farmer deal with it as well, and you can argue Farmer won the first one. I mean, Tevin Farmer definitely laid out some blueprints.
The thing with that Zepeda power, bro, is not very accurate, and he doesn't set it up. So a guy that doesn't set his own power up and a guy that's not accurate with his punches, period, can be beat by the slickest of boxers, which we've known Tevin Farmer to be somewhat in his career, and we know Shakur to be, period. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't think that was much of a, you know what I mean, like, oh my God, woo, you know what I mean? They handled it. This guy, he's knocked out dudes that who had up top head movement stunk from birth. So let alone tuned up and ready to deal with his power. So these two dudes is different.
You know what? Now that y'all said it, Tevin Farmer is probably one of the best people T.O. could probably bring in the camp.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What you think, Vlog?
I agree with that.
Simulate the look. I don't know if Farmer would do it, but that's probably about as close as you're gonna get.
Tev used his legs, I think, a lot more than
I agree.
Shakur had.
I agree. 100%. That's a good point. In this corner podcast, when you're skilled and had the goods, it's easy to get your opponents frustrated. Floyd did it to Zab, Ricky Hatton, Victor Ortiz, all those guys tried to cheat in a sense. And the thing about that legend is when you're dealing with a person that really don't have any holes in their game, like
Right.
you really got to try a little bit of everything, and you got to throw some stuff at the wall and see if something gonna stick. But I'm like, if T.O. Vlog, I'll put it to you like this, because I know our percentages are a little off in terms of who we got. If Teofimo can stay locked in mentally for 12 rounds, then I'm leaning more towards 55-45 Shakur. Coach, if he's not mentally sharp the whole 12 rounds and he's getting frustrated at points in the fight, then I like my 65-35 for Shakur. I think T.O. mentally is going to determine how good he is in his fight.
Absolutely. If he has a stellar performance, I still think he has a uphill battle with Shakur, because I don't foresee him getting hit with anything meaningful, because he's going to be his sensitivity is going to be heightened with all his preparation. And but I think of a fight, Roy Jones and James Toney.
Mm-hmm.
So Roy was telling the story about him and James being like a stalemate at first.
Yeah.
He said, "Damn, I can't get this joker to come out of his shell."
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Well, I think I'll just poke my head out like this." And James bit on him. He said, "Oh,
yeah,
I got him."
Yeah. I seen that interview too, though. Like it was, and that's the thing, Coach. It's like when you got two great fighters in the ring and they're just countering each other's counters and all of that, and both of them are like super sharp. Sometimes it takes one thing just to turn the fight, and I think that was Roy's point. You know, like,
that was my point too when I was trying to tell you about the stab jab from the side to the body that Teofimo has done throughout his career. That can be a very nice little setup if he still has the kind of spring left. You know,
Vlog, check this out. Shakur blocks them shots with his elbow. So
that's as I was going to finish, how you want him to open up. Just like what we were saying with Roy, kind of doing something to kind of get him to open up a little bit. Maybe he gets Shakur to try to reach over and reach for that chin that's kind of a little bit low off to the side, and he could spring back and get him to open up and try to counter punch the counter. You know what I mean? That's why I was
a Vlog. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Are you saying basically like T.O. trying to bait Shakur into being the lead dancer in the situation?
Or at least trying to, like, okay, you want to throw something weak, like, oh, you reach into the body with this little weak side jab. I'm finna come over the top and bang you because your head right there. But it's like you know what I mean? You want him to do that. Oh, I'm gonna pull back and crack him right back. You see what I mean? You trying to get him to open up and get out of his, defensive shell, so to speak. It's not about wanting that jab to land, Coach. It's about trying to get him to do something out of his nature.
Yeah, it's the throwaway shot. you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
but
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 does he have the speed to react
but
if
right
if
now,
Shakur did throw something over the
if he
top like
does
that?
that, if he attempts that stab jab early, he's gonna pay for it with some hellacious shots. Um, you know, but yeah, I would stay away from them heavy body jabs early because it's dangerous for Shakur, but it's also dangerous for Teofimo.
Trading body shots for head shots.
No, but I'm not meaning it to as a shot that you really looking to score with. It's just it's a prober. You probing with it. You
just
want to see what
it's a
reaction you
probe
get.
shot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you
I
get
got
the
you.
right
I got you.
reaction, you can counter off of it and don't have to consistently use it because obviously you're dealing with an intelligent fighter. So don't play off of it, but just something that's in the tool bag. You gotta have. That's all I'm bringing up. Like we bringing up, how can this dude win this fight? What little things can he do to build on? Switch it up. That's one thing that comes off the top of my head. You want to try to get him to open up. You keep messing with him downstairs. Keep
You
seeing what
know,
he gonna do.
what I see Shakur doing is leading with a jab and then hooking off of it and then putting the left uppercut underneath that.
When I've seen Shakur kind of just really successful offensively, when he's giving you that lead right jab and he's check hooking off of that, that's really when he has his most success offensively. As far as Teofimo, kind of just the meat vlog in the middle of the street, with those probing shots, even if he's throwing those probe jabs to the body, I think the thing with Teofimo, in order for him to win this fight, he's gonna have to be punch ready when it's time for exchanges. Like he's gonna have to hope for more than a couple of exchanges, and he gets the better of the exchanges. If it's just straight, we're in front of each other and he's boxing, like Shakur's gonna have the advantage. He gotta hope that Shakur opens up maybe a little bit more than what he usually does, and he's in position to actually throw with him when he does. But the thing about Shakur, he limits those opportunities so much. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because this is a big time fight and it's a huge fight. And I'm kind of curious to see if Shakur actually opens up more because he's trying to make that statement in this fight as well. So it might be some opportunities for Teofimo because Shakur may be trying to put on a show, and he might open up a little bit more than usual. Mm-hmm.
Jeff, what's the southpaw killer?
You said what's a straight right hand?
Okay, probing jab. Say you feint that, and you getting him to come into a straight right hand. Just saying, there's a lot of different little things that camp could actually be working on to, again, as one of the fellas in the chat said, make Teofimo make Shakur kind of a little bit leery to be like, okay, this ain't gonna be no Christmas package I'm opening up. This ain't gonna be that easy. You see what I'm saying? So it's just
no. I hear what you're saying. The thing is, I would say T.O. has a better chance of landing something in an exchange versus a lead right hand against Shakur. I haven't seen. To be honest with you, I haven't seen Shakur.
It's the counter, but it's not even a lead because you're setting it up with the probe and jab, but you feint that probe and jab, and you get him to roll into that right hand. It's really, you know what I mean?
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Different ways to kind of set that one punch up. It's not necessarily just gotta, I'm gonna lean to the side off my jab and throw my straight right hand. It's different ways.
I got you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I've never seen Shakur fall for that. If Teofimo pulls it off, it'll be a first. That's the only point I'm making. I've never seen Shakur actually fall for that. It against a lot of other guys, yeah, I would probably go that route. But I've just never seen Shakur get probed into getting hit with a right hand like that. And you and you also ask what's the southpaw killer? And it's the straight lead right hand. Yes. But the thing is, if T.O.'s gonna throw that, like forget the probing part, right? Let's just say southpaw killer, lead straight right hand, right? The thing with T.O., if he's gonna throw that, he can't just throw that and that's it. He can't just throw that and that's it because he's just gonna get pot shotted. That's why I say this. It's so fascinating talking about this fight because I'm like, you're trying to. It's similar to it's like Floyd and his fights. It's like, what can you do to actually get to him? And one of the people that's had the most success against Floyd was the unorthodox guys.
Hey, can I? What? How can I get back on the show?
You on here, bro? Oh, he was on here and got off. Yeah, a vlog, but that's what makes this fight so fascinating, man. Like this is a fascinating fight to break down, man. And it's like, these two styles is like you just
Do you see it this way? Do you see it as whereas though Teofimo, you like straight right hand? You got the left hand up, you know what I mean? Which we rarely see Teofimo really come out traditional boxing stance. He's kind of a leaner, you know what I mean? He's kind of somebody that tries to be slick, but he ain't skating on ice like that. Let's just say it like that. But anyway, he does try that. So if he comes out traditional, do you think he could stand up under that speed combination, that style punching that we know Shakur is capable of, to be able to enforce his power? That he's the older dude, should be hitting a little bit heavier. He's been in this division, some years or whatever. You know what I mean? So do you think he can stand up under Shakur's combinations to be able to get his hard shots off and have an opportunity at his one or two single hard shots to Shakur's flashy?
That's a great question, bro. And
only I can ask it because I think about boxing like this.
I think that's a great question because the one thing we haven't said is him actually coming up from 35 to 40. If T.O.'s not really feeling the shots, then we definitely got to factor that in. If he's not feeling the shots like that, even if he gets caught with a shot or two from Shakur and he's like, yo, he's not smacking like that. Like, then it turns.
He really ain't smacking like that, bro. He really ain't. He's no Abdullah Mason. Let's put it like that.
He's not an Abdullah Mason, no doubt about it. The thing about it is, that's why I say it's going to be interesting to see how active Shakur is, because if he's landing shots at a active clip, even though he's not cracking like that, that's going to speed up the frustration of Teofimo. It's going to speed up the frustration. But that's what makes this fight so fascinating.
Could it be it? But see, you could also look at it as though, okay, he not cracking like that, so I can stand here and wait for him to finish and get mines off. He's not going to be punching for 3 minutes straight. We've never seen him work like that. The greatest work I've seen him do, and he was consistently on the gas pedal, was against the Army dude. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. And now, and he, I don't even, did he get the stoppage? He didn't even get a knockout. He got the stoppage standing up on his feet. So
I'm not gonna lie. I think if the ref would have let that go, I think he'd have got a knockout.
But again, he didn't get it to that point, and dude was already beat up before that point.
Well,
that being said, I'm just asking a question. Would you think Teofimo can get off like his shot? Like, You saying like, okay, old boy is offensive, but he's only offensive if he can make that other dude defensive. If the dude just sit there and wait for you to punch and then get off, and his shit is harder and causing a bit more reaction than what you're able to cause on him, it could be a very tricky fight. And I'm only saying this because I want everybody to think from both sides of the table. I don't want to come in as no fanboy like this. We don't talk about boxing from all different points of view. Of course, I'm pulling for Shakur to win the fight. Of course, I'm pulling for all those like me. That being said, it is still something that even his camp has to be wary of, all these different things that could be a factor in why we could lose on the biggest stage of our career.
Yeah, and that's I mean, and all those points is really good points. And the thing about it is with Teofimo, it offensively is like, you know, he's gonna have to switch it up quite a bit. And all the things that I think Tio would need to do to win this fight, I think physically, in terms of athleticism and punch variety, I think he has the ability to do it. It's really just him against, and you know how we do. Like we look at past and we kind of get a sense of what guys are gonna do, based off of some past fights. And I'm like, Teofimo goes up against these guys that are quote unquote technically sound, and he kind of just loses it a little bit. You know, like that. I think him mentally is just what
No,
concerns me the most.
I don't disagree with you, but what's the best way to get somebody mentally straight?
Are you talking about Teofimo, like to get him?
Just in general, just like thinking about him, you saying like he's somebody that gets frustrated. What's the best way to get him mentally straight?
In this fight, not staying on a line, not staying in a straight line. That's gonna be very
No, but
important.
just in general, like not for a specific task, just in general. Give
Oh,
him a
just in
goal. Give him a
yeah.
goal. Am I correct? Like that's just anybody. If you kind of got it, you go in a rut or something, you give yourself a new goal. You gonna pick yourself up out of a certain situation and kind of get going into the next situation and achieve this goal. Hopefully, you know what I mean, quote unquote. That's what you do for somebody like that. And for him, this would be I wouldn't say it would be not historical. It would be a super duper great win. So that in itself is motivation. Defense of their stance is motivation. You understand what I'm saying? And we kind of know what side they stand on when it comes to certain situations in life. That's cool. But that in itself is motivation. So that can be obstacles that we want to make sure Shakur is aware of, and that he forces him to just throw all that shit away. Like, you know, I ain't got it. I can't get motivated because really see I can't win. But if he's coming into, that's why Coach said early, them first few rounds matter. I don't think Shakur wants to give anything away, but at the same time, you don't want to open up too early and give a guy that's a true vet. That's a guy that you don't know if you feeling what he's throwing, because we don't know what he's throwing when he's motivated. You understand what I'm saying? Which we've seen him throw some heavy shots, being motivated, trying to build himself up to be the star. We've seen him have some highlight KOs. So, you know what I mean? It's a possibility that it could be, like I said, a 45-55 type of fight, closer to a 60-40 type of fight, like Coach said.
Yeah, I think Teofimo is gonna be motivated for the fight. Obviously, you
Super
know,
motivation, though.
I mean, super motivated
I
for the
told
fight.
you so motivation.
Yeah, he's gonna definitely be motivated for the fight for sure. So I'm not worried about that with Teofimo. Teofimo, he's gonna need Shakur to cooperate a little bit.
All right, no, all right. Let me judge your motivation on where you think this man is motivated at, because I just want my dude and the boy to be on P's and Q's, tippy toes, baby. You know what I mean? Ballroom dancing, slick with it. You know what I mean? Real crispy. You dig? But that being said, is he gonna be Devin Haney Australia motivated?
You talking about Teofimo?
Yes. That's where I'm judging your rate of his motivation. This is a personal question.
His motivation is not my question, though. I think he's gonna be heavily motivated.
No, but you're saying his motivation affects his performance. So
I'm not saying that. No,
you have said that.
I said no. I didn't say his motivation. I said it's frustration. I didn't say it's motivation.
Okay. So if you're so highly motivated, it's hard to get you frustrated because you're too busy acquiring your goal, working on whatever you worked on to get that goal done. You're not worried about what they doing. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I feel you. It depends. So to answer that, it depends on how much you're getting smacked upside the head. If Shakur is being offensive, he's gonna get frustrated. He's gonna get frustrated probably around 6.
Okay. Here's another question for you. Is Shakur motivated to let go and smack up, as in statement wise smack up, or as in I'm about to just win this boxing match smack up?
I think he's gonna try to put on a show, and that's where I think it's gonna get interesting, because with him trying to put on a show, he's gonna get Teofimo opportunities. It's gonna be more exchanges than what people think.
Okay. I would prefer to see a fight. That's why I said 45, 55. You get, because again, it's a name. It's not like, you know what I mean, William Cepeda, quote unquote. No doubt, no slouch against William Cepeda and what he's done in the ring. I'm not disrespecting my dude, but we know there's levels to names in this game of boxing. So your boy's going up in weight and he's fighting a name. So I think it's going to be more than just the bink bink and the shoulder roll. Like you said, it's got to be more than the bink bink shoulder roll. Yeah. And he really going to have to sit down on something, or like you said, go through some exchanges.
It's going to be. I see where you've been going with it. I think Teofimo.
Bro, I don't mean to cut you off. I haven't had a long time to be able to do this. I'm about to dislocate my shoulder, patting myself on the back. Y'all can't see me because I'm off camera, but my shoulder popping out. Bro, I do this. I break this game down real nasty, like real detailed. I think about the finer nuances of this shit. So I'm just here and I'm appreciating you allowing me to do this on your platform. So thank you very much for, introducing me back to the game.
Oh, you already know. I think just like, I think Teofimo is motivated to prove people wrong because they think like he don't have the answers for Shakur. And I think Shakur is going to be motivated to try to put on a all-time performance, which is going to leave him vulnerable in spots, which goes to the exchanges that I think is going to happen in this fight. I don't think Shakur wants to shoulder roll, defense, pot shot, and win the fight that way. I think he's gonna be a little bit out of character a little bit, which is going to create some opportunities for a great fight. I'm just saying with Teofimo, once them opportunities present itself, I just want him to be in position to exchange with Shakur. I think he's going to give more opportunities than what he usually does.
And that's based on you seeing Shakur more flat-footed?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with the him being flat-footed.
Just not say flat-footed like he don't move, but just the way he kind of fights in the pocket. So that in the pocket is going to be some exchanges based on him trying to open up and get off on Teofimo. That's like what you're.
I think it's more so just I think he's going to really try to make a statement in this fight. I think he's really going to try to make a statement in this fight, and I think he's going to take more chances in this fight than he has in previous fights. So it's not really a technical thing that I'm looking at. I'm looking at it like I honestly think he's going to try to have a Mayweather or Arturo Gotti type performance. I think he really is going to be motivated to put on a performance, but that's going to leave Teofimo opportunities.
So basically, you saying he trusts them whiskers? He believe in them whiskers.
I think he do. I think
jawbone strong, huh?
I think he do.
Solid.
I think he's really gonna try to leave no doubt in this fight. And that's why I said with Teofimo.
Would you say New Jeru's concrete solid?
I think Shakur believe in it. I think Shakur believe in it. I think he believe in it. I think Teofimo, in order for Teofimo to win this fight, Teofimo's going to have to land something significant at some point in this fight.
Question. So who has the Devin Haney moment?
If Shakur gets in trouble, he'll have the Haney moment. Now, we talking just boxing and nothing else?
Just like, get that flash knockdown.
You talking about who can get a flash knock? I would say
just get let's catch it like that moment in the fight. Okay, damn, kind of unexpected, like shit.
I can see Teofimo.
It could be a body shot, you know what I mean?
I can see Teofimo getting dropped off a flash knockdown. I could see it. Maybe more so off balance than anything else. Because he kind of sloppy with his footwork, even though he's very athletic.
You think it's his footwork? I think it's more where he places his upper body. Because to me, I picture him in 5 to 6 fights where a lot of his defense isn't, say, traditional. It's that lean, and I'm just gonna make you miss by the reach. Like, if you make somebody, they throwing a traditional hook and you leaning, they just missing because they can't reach you. It's not because you did anything super spectacular. So that type of thing, I feel like could get him in trouble because of how accurate Shakur is. So at the same time,
that's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. We're gonna definitely get into this more as it gets closer to the fight. I'm kind of curious to hear what Shane thinks about this fight. I haven't had a chance to talk to him.
Oh, that's right up his alley.
This is definitely.
I've been seeing him go off on the joint, though. I've been seeing a couple of little clips on the gram. He's been going off still.
Yeah, he's been snapping lately. So I don't know. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what he thinks. If it's typical Shane, I know Shane's probably going to be like, Shakur is gonna pot shot and kind of cruise to a victory. If I know Shane, if Shane gives me something different than that, I'm gonna be really curious to hear it.
If he's breaking it down, he gotta see it's gotta be more than a pot shot sort of championship. Like, even Dev couldn't pot shot his way to a victory in that fight with Norman.
But I don't think I don't know. It's going to be interesting to hear from Shane because I don't know what he thinks of Teofimo. So I'm kind of curious to see what his opinion is because I honestly don't know what he thinks of Teofimo as a fighter. I really don't know. So it's going to be kind of. I know what he thinks of Shakur. Oh
yeah, if you just look at the past few fights, Shakur's been A+. Teofimo's pushing a C plus because he's a champion. But performance in what you're showing me in the ring has been C material, my dude. That's why I bring in the motivation factor as in to elevate somebody mentally, bring back that physical spark and that ability again, that juice, so to speak. That's why I said this could be a big fight motivationally wise to show us that old Teofimo. You understand what I'm saying? So we want Shakur and them to kind of understand that. Me as a boxing fan, as a pundit, I want them to understand that too. And be on their tippy toes. Don't be like you said, shoulder rolling. Don't get too cute with it.
Yeah, I think I think both guys understand the assignment. I think that with Shakur, like in big fights, I usually ask myself like, who can fight their regular fight and win, and who's gonna need help, or they're gonna have to make some adjustments. And Shakur can fight a regular fight and win boring. Tio gonna need a little bit of help. He gonna need some assistance from Shakur. He's gonna need some cooperation from
And so you saying
Shakur.
that same style can come up in weight and just pitch a shutout, so to speak.
Not a shutout at all. Not a shutout at all.
Okay.
I ain't gonna put no. That'll be disrespectful to Tio. So I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that Shakur doesn't necessarily have to change his style, or like I don't think Teofimo's a hard puzzle to figure out. I don't think he's a hard puzzle to figure out. Shakur is a hard puzzle to figure out. So with Teofimo being motivated, he's still gonna have to figure that puzzle out while being
I
motivated.
mean, if you look at it, your boy is a couple of dudes that has a little bit of success against him. And I know he can fight long like the African boy, so to speak. The African boy had his moments against Shakur Stevenson, and that was a younger, slicker,
He wasn't really landing much against Shakur neither, though. He wasn't
but
landing that much against Shakur.
again,
The reason why that fight resonates with everybody is because Shakur wasn't active. It was just a boring
and
ass
you know
fight.
why Shakur wasn't active, and I'm gonna tell you why dude didn't finish what he was starting out there, because neither truly believed in their own power. Neither believed that they could deal with the other's power either.
I think that
And
was a
so
whack ass fight, bro. I just think that
I'm
was a
just
terrible ass fight.
styles make fight.
I think it was a terrible style fight, bro. I ain't even
Yeah,
go.
you
I ain't gonna get it.
again.
I ain't gonna give. Who's it? Natalia, right? Yeah, I ain't
Yeah,
gonna give him the credit, and I ain't gonna give Shakur the credit. I just think that was a horrible style fight, and they
but
both
if you
fought
look at
horrible.
Nicotalia, what he's done, what he did before that fight, and what he's done after that fight, he's had success in the ring with that style. I just think against that opponent, he thought it was going to be more starch coming back, so he never finished those combinations where he was kind of opening up and had Shakur a little bit more defensive. That's when he was using his feet a lot more. You know what I mean? Now he's more upper body defense, kind of. I'm quicker in the pocket than you type. I don't know. I think he'll have the speed advantage in this fight, but to me, my big question is what the strength gonna look like, bro. Like you,
That's a good question.
I mean,
That's
you
a
can
good
hit a
question.
pillow 100 times, but if it's a brick in that pillow and it hits you once, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but that's what makes the fight fascinating. I think with the shots that Shakur are going to land, a big question is Teofimo going to feel any of that? And if he don't feel none of that, that's going to increase his motivation to go get him. And I know
See, motivation.
that's a big word you've been using. But I think as motivated as Teofimo could get in this fight, I think it can
It can
easily be
still be
taken
tricky.
away. Yeah, it can be tricky and it can be taken away too. And I think that's gonna be a huge question going into this fight, man. But we usually don't get fights like this. So I'm just happy that
Yeah,
these
this is a
guys
big chess
signed
match.
on.
This, this this can
This
be
is
a
a
nice little chess match, and it can
this
be a brawl at the same time.
Yeah, this is a fascinating fight to break down, but we gonna get up out of here. Almost an hour 45 minutes.
Hey, we get to
Straight,
talking this game. You know how it go.
yeah, straight cooking. You know what I'm
I
saying?
need. I'm gonna talk to you probably tomorrow off the show a little bit, but
Mhm.
I'll rap to you a little bit.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, so big shout out to Coach Ali coming in and definitely dropping his knowledge on some things, especially with the Cool Boy Steph situation and just whenever we can get things from a coach perspective, we always welcome it 100%. So big shout out to Coach Ali for stopping through Vlog, as always, man, great breakdown, great questions in terms of just this particular fight and what we could possibly be looking at. Give them your social media and all that, good brother.
Man, I'm on the gram, boxing first vlog, capital B, capital F, capital V, spell it out. You'll see me. You know what I mean? You'll see my banner in the background. That's gonna be the page I'm gonna be working on. So when you see that one, Jeff, you know what I mean, just tap in, bro.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna get busy starting after the probably start the new year, bro. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
I'm gonna hammer them, you know what I mean? I'm
Okay.
gonna hammer them hard. So yeah,
No
just you
doubt.
give me a couple, like, you know, I got a lot going on right now. So but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still in the streets. I ain't in the streets, I'm on the porch. You know what I mean? I'm on the porch.
You say you
You
on a
feel
porch.
me? Yeah, yeah. You
I
know,
feel
so
that.
I
I
still see
feel
what's
that.
going on, you dig?
Yeah, nah, I feel that. I feel that. Big shout out to everyone that checked into this show, man. Our next show is gonna be let's see. I got Saturday off, so we can actually do Sunday. And there's a card on Saturday too. I think a Zoom card
Dizan?
on Saturday. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So we can definitely chop it up Sunday, and hopefully we can get Shane on. I'm definitely interested to get his
Yeah,
opinion on
reach out
things.
to the little homie. Reach out to
Yeah,
him.
and I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Legend to be back off of vacay by Sunday. So hopefully we'll have him on as well. And just before we go, um, just to make an announcement, I am gonna be doing an interview with someone that is actually making their pro debut on the Serrano card that's going down on January 3rd. They're gonna be making their pro debut on that card. So I'm definitely going to be uh, doing an interview. His name is Justin Hill. He's going to be fighting on the undercard of the Amanda Serrano card.
What
So
weight?
they're going to be fighting at 118. 118. Both guys will be making a debut, but it's going to be on the undercard of Amanda Serrano. So we definitely going to have that set up. Probably, I
Big
might even
shout
do
out to
that.
him. Big
Yeah,
shout out to
yeah.
him.
Big shout out to Justin Hill making his debut. I got an outside shot at Shaky Foster too. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I can get him on. I did go through the preliminaries to try to make that happen. So I should have something within the next day or two in terms of whether I can pull that off or not. We would love to talk to him
Oh,
in
no
terms of
doubt. A
in
few
terms of that
questions.
fight.
Nothing too heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing too heavy, but just that mindset going into the fight. I would just love to talk to him just to kind of get the mindset pre-fight, after the missed weight, and then the motivation to, to put on that performance that he put on Saturday. So I'll keep you guys posted in regards to that. Definitely subscribe to Boxing First Vlog. Definitely follow him on the gram. He'll be back up and running, back busy. You know what I'm saying? Are you still gonna do the Blunt Truth series, or we going different
Yeah,
directions?
as long as we got the Jose Suleimans in the streets, I mean that's gonna be mandatory. You dig? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
And you
I'll
know,
do that thumbnail. I'll put together a little something different. Just send it to you, see if you like it. So you can kind of have a little segue for that when you do the Blunt Truth series. But definitely subscribe to Blunt's channel, Boxing First Vlog, and actually subscribe to In This Corner podcast too. My guy Legend, definitely subscribe to him as well, man. So, but we're gonna get up out of here, man. Hour 50 minutes strong, man. Just this was a throwback episode. If you don't like talking about the technical stuff of fighting, this probably wasn't the episode for you. But this is what we actually built our names on, having these types of shows and breaking down these fights from a technical standpoint. So on behalf of Boxing First Vlog, the legend, Shane, my guy Teak, big shout out to Teak, and Coach Ali, your boy G5 Jeff TV. This is episode 6 of Throw the Hook podcast. We will be back with you on Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Noon Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. We'll be dropping some stuff in the social medias just to remind y'all, but we will see y'all Sunday. Peace out.
Hey. All right, Brody.
All right, hit my line tomorrow, bro.
All right, got you.
All right.